Boy, I hope I'm live. It says I'm live. I would suck if I'm not live. Damn it. Come on, load. Okay, good. Looks like I'm live. Pretty sure that one viewer is me. Share my stuff. Pretty sure everyone's gonna hate me for doing this late. Yo, they're still playing Among Us? Oh no. Oh, didn't know they were still playing Among Us. That sucks for me. This also makes this a little awkward. Alrighty. Are they streaming? Oh well, missing out on all the fun. That's okay. Let's see. I believe I left off on Kingdom Hearts 1. Alright. Thanks, Humble. I appreciate the comment. No, I figured they weren't. I see that now. I didn't know they were still playing. Are you playing? I feel weird streaming while they're all playing because I said I wouldn't be available. Oh, thank you, Humble. Well, you should get some sleep. It's late. I appreciate you talking to me. I appreciate that. Alright. Well. Alright, I guess I'll talk to myself, which is just like talking to a video. Yeah, go get some rest, Humble. Do your homework. You and your homework. Or you should pay somebody to do your homework for you or something so you have free time. Alright, well, I'm glad. I hope you had fun. Yeah, I saw that he was gonna make rules. I won't be able to this weekend because it's my dad's birthday tomorrow and my grandpa's visiting on Sunday, but I do hope to next time. And I was gonna do this earlier, but there was this awesome documentary about President Obama, so yeah. Alright, bye, Humble. Alrighty. Okie dokie. So I have to kind of remember how I did this last time. I'll tell him you said happy birthday. Okay. So, to give another little recap, this is me talking about Kingdom Hearts game design and level design. Basically my consolidated thoughts on the overall games as I re-experienced them in chronological order. I didn't do every single little thing for each game because I didn't really need to. I just wanted to get the most optimal experience and write down my thoughts. Now, the way that this goes, I'm talking about the gameplay mechanics, the tutorials, and the level design, and then my overall thoughts. And a few miscellaneous notes that I took along the way. So, for anybody who knows me and knows my love of Kingdom Hearts will also know that I hate Chain of Memories with a fiery passion. Chain of Memories is my least favorite Kingdom Hearts game. I am not a fan of its gameplay mechanics. I personally think that this is the slowest Kingdom Hearts game, and I have talked about it to death, and I will still talk about it to death. Lito and I have to make a video complaining at some point. So, up until this point chronologically, we've had a we've had two games, Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts, both fairly fast-paced games. Chain of Memories, as I mentioned, is the slowest Kingdom Hearts game. It is not at all what you would expect from a sequel to the first Kingdom Hearts game, which is really a lot of fast-paced combat. So, the way that gameplay works in this game is through a card system. So, you have a deck of cards, and I'm going to talk about Sora's and I'll talk about Riku's decks, but let's start off with Sora's. So you have a deck of cards. Each card has a number, has a particular type of attack strength element, and how they recover from being card broken, which I will get into later. And they also have a cost. For every number, there's a particular cost. The higher the number, the higher the cost. Zeros cost the most because they act like jokers in a way. So, the way that this card system works is that you make a deck with these cards. But you cannot go over a certain amount of card points that your deck currently has. So, for this particular save file, I have 1,275 card points total, and I have filled it up to 1,274. So, So you can increase the card points, the max card points through leveling, which is just defeating enemies and getting these experience drops. Every attack, every item, every summon, every magic card, every magic ability is a card. Even special attacks are cards. Enemy abilities are cards. You can combine cards together to make a special move, and it's called a sleight. So unlike the ability points of Kingdom Hearts 1 or the commands of Birth by Sleep, you have to combine some of your resources, but you can also use them at different times to do special abilities. Let's see. Okay, before I go into a few other things, I want to make one little special point about the cards themselves. So Sora has a standard 3-hit combo, and as you can see, I've stacked my Keyblade cards in a very specific order, and the order of these is how much damage they do in a particular part of the combo. So Divine Rose, for example, does the most damage at the first part of the combo, Oblivion does well in the second part, and Wishing Star does well in the third part of the basic combo. Now, the only way you can figure this out is by trial and error, or if you look up a guide like I did. Everglow has a fantastic guide to the card system, and it makes me hate it even more. So not only do you have to keep in mind the card points, the strength of your Keyblades, the strength of your special abilities. You have to keep track of, if you're doing a standard combo, which Keyblades do better, and this makes a massive difference in just your basic gameplay, because if you don't do this, it's just going to be like throwing rocks at a wall. This gameplay is just so complicated. I'll go back into my overall thoughts about it, but that's like the basic overview. For Riku, Riku's deck is a lot simpler. So the main grab to a lot of the Kingdom Hearts games and their gameplay are customization. So Kingdom Hearts games try to allow the player to play the game in any way they want under the specific type of combat restrictions that the game has. And a lot of games try to do this, where they give the player all these options to make sure that they can play the game in the way that they feel. So that is very much evident in how much customization you have for Sora's deck. But for Riku's deck, every world that you enter has a specific deck, and you cannot change it. The only thing you can do is make a shortcut for it. Other than that, you have to learn how the deck works and make it work to your favor. Riku's is a lot simpler, and it takes away a lot of customization, but in my opinion, it's actually a lot more fun. After boss battles, enemy cards are added to Riku's deck. You don't have to worry about any sort of card costs or anything. They're just added. You just have to scroll to the right spots in your deck to get to the right card. Still not good at this. Once a card is used in battle, it has to be reloaded. For Riku, cards reload immediately. For Sora, there is this timer and I'll switch back to Sora. So if you use up every card in your deck, you have to reload it, and for Sora, like I said, there's a timer. So what that means is that you have to go through one, like, I don't know if it's a second or just at least one card reload, and then it reloads all your cards. But for Sora, it stacks. So after you do it the first time, you have to do it a second time, so you have to wait like twice as long, and then it caps out at 3, so you only have to wait 3 times as long. Now, if you haven't optimized your deck, this could really hurt you in boss battles if you're just stuck there reloading. It could really affect how well you're doing. Cards can be collected at Moogle shops, where you can buy card packs for Moogle points. And Moogle points are only awarded if you hit items in the world. I have hit all of the items in this world, and so nothing's gonna pop out. But when you hit items like these, usually health or Moogle points or a card pops out of it. And so usually when a card pops out, you have to like run for it as it'll bounce around. Now, if you do not collect your health or your Moogle or your card before going into a battle, then you've lost whatever that thing was. It doesn't come back if you hit it again. The combat itself is basically War, if you have ever played War. Damn it. So, basically all that you're doing... God damn it. Can I... Damn it. Alright. Alright. So, what I mean by War is that, just as the main character has a deck of cards, the enemies have a deck of cards. So, you will play a card with a particular number. Your card needs to be higher than that card that was played in order for you to carry out your attack. If your card is lower, your card will get broken, your attack will not go through, and you have wasted a card. So basically the higher number wins. For Riku, there's actually an extra thing that happens if you play a card of equal value. You go into a duel, in which you are now just kind of going through your deck at a rapid pace, trying to find cards that are higher or equal to the card that is presented by the Heartless. And if you manage to destroy the certain amount of cards within the time limit, Riku does a special attack. It's basically like when you and your opponent in War throw down an equal card, you lay down 3 cards, and then you flip over those cards. Whoever has the most, has the highest number total overall, gets all those cards. That's basically how that's implemented. There are certain enemies, bosses in particular, that do have slight special abilities, so you'll need to watch out for those. And the zero card acts kind of like a joker. So if a 0 is played by you and it is played first, and then an enemy plays a card on top of it, your card will get broken. 0 will be the lowest card. But if you play a 0 in response to a high numbered card, your card will then break theirs, and your attack will go through until the boss or enemy just throws another high level card at you, and then your 0 gets broken. Leveling. So in this game, again, trying to work on the customization, you get to choose what you level up. So for Sora, you level up your health, your card points, which is your deck, and you get to choose a sleight. At a certain level, you will gain a new sleight, a new attack for Sora to gain. For Riku, you also level up HP, you also level up strength, and you level up dark points. Now, for Riku has another special mode to kind of, I guess, compensate for the lack of customization. So, if Riku breaks a certain amount of enemies' cards, I believe if you break 30 cards as Riku, you go into dark mode, where Riku's base strength is higher, so he's more powerful and he's a lot faster, and his sleights, because Riku can use sleights as well, are darker forms of his normal ones, and they are more powerful. That is the basic overview of the combat. So the tutorial in this game is a blatant tutorial that is stretched across the entirety, that is stretched across basically all of Traverse Town. This tutorial, the player is taken completely out of the game space, unlike Birth by Sleep in Kingdom Hearts 1, where you are doing a tutorial in the game space, then you're hitting a few things that are in the level, you're finding Ben, Terra, and Aqua. For Sora in Kingdom Hearts 1, you're navigating the Station of Awakenings and learning about the Keyblade and the Heartless and stuff. But for this game, it's, hey, you've lost. Does it say Melody of Memory? Does it say Melody of Memory? It shouldn't say Melody of Memory. But it's not Melody of Memory. No, this is me talking about game design while you guys are playing Among Us. Whoops, didn't know you guys would still be playing Among Us. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't say talking about Kingdom Hearts level design? Does it not? It says that in the title, not a game. Why does it never do this? Ugh, 1 second. I don't understand why it always does this, where it doesn't... Game. Kingdom Hearts. 1.5, 2.5. I don't have a... No, I don't have a bot. I don't fucking do Twitch, dude. Don't you dare say the line! How dare you! You know that triggers me, Lito. How dare you! Get real, look which one of us is winning. Anyway. Alright. How dare you say the line? How dare you? Alright, now that you've derailed me from talking about game design, let me get back to talking about game design. Alright, so, the tutorial in this game, as I said, the player is taken completely out of the game space. Because Sora has forgotten everything and must learn how to play the game, progress through the castle by using cards, the player also then has to learn how the gameplay works. But instead of integrating this within the game world, the game takes you out of the game world and says, this is a card, here's how it works. You're taken in a completely separate game space, and that is how the tutorial works. It stretches through the first 2 story sections, and then of course it all combines into your boss battle. Level design era. This game does not belong to a level design era of the Kingdom Hearts games because this game has no level design. So you are exploring in this game 13 floors of square rooms. They're just square rooms. It's just square rooms. The room size and Heartless strength, this game has no levels. This game is a bunch of bullshit boxes with no guidance. Yeah, basically. Are you not playing? So the room size and heartless strength are determined by the cards that are used to open the doors. So for example, Moment's Reprieve is the save point. There are some Moogle rooms. I am in... Let's go yeah, I know that Emil's got some cool stuff. I would have been... First of all, I was going to start streaming earlier, but there was this fantastic documentary about President Obama and his photographer. So, hopefully I'll get to join like a little bit later. Not later on tonight, but maybe next week or something, because it's my dad's birthday tomorrow. My grandpa's visiting Sunday. So, anyway. Room size and heartless strength are determined by the card used to open the door. For example, I'm in feeble darkness. So this is one of the smallest rooms. And the heartless cards are 2 less than what they normally would be for this world. So as you go up through the castle, the heartless's decks get stronger. So for example, I don't know if Neo Shadows have 9s, but I know they have 8s. And then like Shadows in Traverse Town have 1s. There are special story rooms. So for those, you have to fulfill a certain criteria and have a special card. Apparently I won't be able to show this off. Hold on. Damn it. Alright, well, so, damn it. So for the special rooms, basically, it's just you need to have like the story-specific card, like the Room of Rewards or the Door to Truth or whatever they're called. But in addition to those cards, there are there's certain criteria. So for example, you need to have a card of each color, red, blue, and green card. Or you need to have a card of a certain number, or you need like 33, or you need 33 greens, 33 blues, and 33 reds. The cards that are used for these special rooms, they don't combine or anything to determine enemy strength. These are story rooms or special rooms that either don't have any sort of heartless interactions or boss interactions, or they have a fixed attack amount. These room cards are collected through combat, so you gain them after a battle with a heartless. Fun fact, no green cards spawn in floors 12 or 13, because well, at least in floor 12, you have no friends. Epic, go away. Now, for the most part, these levels don't have actual design, but that's not entirely the case with Riku. So in Riku's story, and I would go back and show it, but that would mean that I would have to lose some. Actually, let me do that. So for Riku's, spoiler warning, by the way, I will be spoiling the story for every single Kingdom Hearts game in this series. So the only level design present in this game is in Riku's story. So for Riku, there are 2 worlds where there's a smidget of level design. So first is Destiny Islands. The map is a circle, so you have to go in this ring. Right, let's see. Twilight Town. What's up, Mickey? It's just... Alright. So, Destiny Islands is shaped like a circle. This is signifying that Riku has come full circle in his journey since Kingdom Hearts 1, as he has to face the consequences of destroying his home world and dealing with the darkness inside him. A purity ring? That'd be interesting. It could be. I don't know. And then Twilight Town. Twilight Town is the other level of the actual design. So, this whole map is 2 forks. So at the beginning of this world, Riku is told he has to make a choice between light and darkness. And the forked path signifies this, that Riku has to make a choice, but unfortunately this is a very weak design, because you go here and you can choose to go either way, but the thing is that you have to, so you go here, you can go up either way, and I'm not explaining this right. So, the reason why this is a weak design is because you have to go up both of the forks, which I guess is kind of signifying that Riku is choosing both the middle ground, existing both in light and darkness. But the fact that the entire thing is about making a choice and then you just have to go up both of the ways anyway is a little bit weak, in my opinion. So that is the the very basic light overview of the gameplay, the tutorial, and the level design. Now, my overall thoughts. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of this game. So Chain of Memories has one of the most intricate combat systems in the Kingdom Hearts series as a whole, but specifically for Sora, between the card points, the slides, and the damage done in particular combos with particular keyblades, and the magical weaknesses that are implemented in this game, they all add depth to the gameplay system. At least it tries to. There are many deck combos to suit any style of gameplay. In my opinion, actually much more so than the command deck. I say it's a good example of a smaller, more in-depth combat system, but I immediately follow that up with a however. I'd say that it kind of adds depth to the system, but it's very shallow. It's trying to do a little too much, in my opinion. So, what this game does is takes your combat and makes it into a resource system. So the combination of the command deck. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I have written here, while both the command deck and the card deck are resource systems, the card deck system turns the base combat into a resource system, while the command deck does not. So the command deck, you still have your basic combo. You lose your basic combo in this game because every single attack, even the ones that miss, uses a card which depletes your resource. And so what this does, this very harshly forces the player to approach battle in a more strategic way, but the only real reward is that you don't lose your cards. So, unlike Kingdom Hearts 1, where the player is rewarded with getting better at the game and the satisfaction of getting better at the game and gaining tech points to get their extra experience to level up faster, or whatever, this game just rewards the player with, hey, you didn't lose a card. You didn't lose a resource of your basic combat. And so, for me, what this does is the player becomes so focused on making sure an attack hits an enemy that it's really hard to notice anything else, such as an enemy hitting you. There's been a lot of times where I haven't really paid attention to Sora's health until I'm almost dead. And so when an enemy does attack you, you kind of you don't have a lot of time to react with a higher card number before the attack completes and you get hit. And given that this is a resource system, you can't really tank your way through a normal combo, because an enemy might have a higher card, and this is true like at any point of the game, but very much so with Riku, who you can't control his deck, but also a lot for Sora in the end game, because as I've mentioned, Neo Shadows have like 8. So if you have anything 8 or below, you can't tank your way through, and you start to lose your cards. The enemy might break it, and then for me, it just kind of leaves you scrambling to recover. There's this really awful visual audio feedback for when you get hit, when your card gets broken. The screen flashes, there's this like bang sound, and for me, I just get so taken out of the game loop that I just kind of sit there for a good second before I realize that I've been hit and I'm going to get hit again. And the one way you could try to tank your way through is by spamming slights, but that will just deplete your deck because you lose the first card of your slight after you reload normally. If you use a special item card, you still keep your first slight card, but eventually you'll run out of item cards and have to reload. And so spamming slights will just deplete your deck even faster. So what this does is this forces the player to spend a lot of time crafting decks that won't get broken by enemies that fall within the current card point limit. But let's see. They also have to keep an eye out for enemy attacks and reacting to the appropriate amount of time, making sure they don't waste cards by simply pressing the attack button. And so what this does is it makes the game feel less like a fast-paced action RPG, more like a kind of sluggish strategy RPG when the game doesn't know that it's an action RPG. It's really weird. Like, this game is a lot more strategic. It's trying to be a lot more strategic, but there's just so much. There's so much to keep track of between your card deck, the enemies around you, and how many reloads you have. It's just a lot. As I've mentioned, the level design is virtually non-existent. You're just navigating a bunch of square rooms. But navigating these square rooms is a challenge in and of itself, but not in a good way. Not like, oh, I'm learning the layout, I know how to get through this area faster, such and such. No. What happens is that enemies can kind of appear from anywhere. They can be right there. Right? They can appear in front of you or behind you. And as soon as you touch them, you're forced into a battle. So you can gain an advantage by hitting the enemy before it touches you, or you can escape the battle at any time, which is helpful, but you can't get me. Haha. Can't get me. So Veronica, I have the high ground. Anyway, so with Heartless coming out of absolutely nowhere to take you into a completely separate game space, again for combat, here I'll show off. So instead of just fighting in the same, I'm gonna just escape, you're taken to a completely separate area, right? Get back on this box. So a lot of times a Heartless might just come out of nowhere. Like, I've had many times where literally left field, the Heartless has come out of fucking left field, and I've been brought into a combat situation that I don't want to. So what this ends up doing is that yeah, that's a very good point. So yeah, the running to the wall and escaping is not that great of a mechanic, because you can still get hit while you're trying to leave, and this would be a leftover from the Game Boy Advance version of the game. So, with these heartless popping out of nowhere and taking you to a different battle space, it makes simply walking through the levels feel like navigating a minefield, because you have to be careful to kind of round corners, and you have to keep a constant eye out on your surroundings. Like, most of the time, I'm usually like walking like this. Most of the Jesus, that's a great example. So I was just trying to demonstrate me just how I walk, which is very, very slowly in this game, because even though you can kind of memorize where the heartless spawn, by the time they do like spawn and appear, there's not a lot of time before they fucking make a beeline for you. So you have to constantly be aware of your surroundings, and this is so much more frustrating when you're trying to get the items that are in boxes or other destructible objects in the level. So yeah, unless you have the almighty box, you're screwed. So I've mentioned that you have to make sure that you get the whatever item that you're trying to get before you enter a battle, because if you don't, that item disappears and you can't get it back. So, son of a bitch. God damn it, no. God damn it, no. God damn it, no. Alright. So right here, this HP. Now, if that was a Moogle point or a card, I would have to wait. Yeah. The ground speed is greater than yours. You need to take curves. Well, yeah, exactly. So for these objects that fly out of these destructibles in the level, if you don't allow it to